Okay, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to present the master program on artificial intelligence for science and technology. I'm Vincenzo Fiori. I am the coordinator of this program, the chair of the educational program of this program, and I will be the one who will help you in the entire program with the assistance of all colleagues if you will choose to enter in this program. Today, what we are going to see is which are the goals, what we are going to present and study during this program in order to better understand which are the foundations of artificial intelligence, which are very interdisciplinary, and as a consequence, which are the various topics that we need to study together in order to be sure to have not only the foundation, but also the special competencies which are necessary to address a broad variety of problems. We are going to have a look to some application areas for which this program has been conceived, but these are not the only application areas in which we can use the competencies and the knowledge that you will see in this program. There are many others. I will just give us some hints about these ideas, these opportunities, but then with the evolution of the technologies, with the evolution of the applications, with the evolution of the hardware support for these technologies, of course, we may have many more new applications that is difficult to conceive now. And since we are just starting your professional careers, of course, you will have at least 40 years to see the evolution of technologies and the evolution of applications. And what is important is that first of all, we would like to give you the theoretical foundation in order to allow you to remain on the leading edge of technology and innovation during your career. With these foundations, then we will build, on this foundation, then we will build some set of knowledge specific in various application areas that can be useful in various application areas. And then on all this knowledge, you can afford easily to enter in the profession and using continuing education activities, you can easily remain on the leading edge of technology and applications. Since having solid foundations, then it's easy for each and every one of us just to read some new material, some new ideas, and understand what is behind these ideas, these opportunities. So let's start with some basic idea. What is artificial intelligence and which are the areas in which we are going to focus our attention? Well, artificial intelligence is mimicking what our natural brain is doing. Basically, what we try to capture is the behavior of the brain, how the brain, from observation coming through the senses, through the sensors, to the natural sensors, is able to extract relevant information to understand the environment, to understand what is happening in the environment, and based on the previous knowledge, to take decision about appropriate actions. So we are going to have a perception of cold, hot, if the environment is humid, and what or anything else, what we see in the environment, and reasoning on this information based on what we observe and on our previous experiences, what you have seen personally, as well as what we have seen through the eyes and the experience of many others who transmitted this experience, this knowledge to us. For example, in the school, in the university, in many other communication channels. And Using this reasoning, actually, we can deduce new solutions. We can improve the solutions. We can create new applications to address the evolving needs of people, to address new problems, to address many situations that we have around the world, from improving the sustainability of the life of the human activities in the industry, in transportation, in improving the quality of life of people. For example, ensuring the production of enough food, the availability of water. Around the world, there are many places in which these aspects are still a critical aspect for the life. And for other activities, to improve the experience in entertainment, to improve the health, to support the improvement of the health with support to diagnosis, to support of cure, for continuing education, to continue to learn from the experience and the experience of others. So all of this basically means we want to mimic the behavior of the brain to solve problems. And there are various aspects that helps in modeling the behavior of the brain. There are various approaches to model the behavior of the brain. And as a consequence, we have many different tools to try to solve problems, complex problems, especially problems for which it's difficult to devise a sequence of operations that from the input devise the outputs. For example, as we are used to do defining an algorithm and then writing a computer program, where we need to know exactly the various steps that we need to do. What we want to do with artificial intelligence is just what you are used to do naturally. If I show you a series of similar objects, keys, for example, even if they're different, you have seen some examples, and then you are able to extend this experience and recognize other objects that have the same function as the key that you have already observed, even if they have a different shape. So this is a set of techniques that your brain learned autonomously during education, partially are embedded in the behavior of the brain, in the structure of the brain. And using all these techniques, you are actually able to solve many problems. And what we wanted to do with artificial intelligence is to capture these techniques, transform them in tools running on computers to augment our capabilities of solving the problem. Artificial intelligence will never replace the humans, since we created these techniques, but their capabilities and the hardware support can speed up many of the activities that we can do naturally. And as a consequence, they may become a really significant help to simplify the life of people in many different application areas. But this area of artificial intelligence is very interdisciplinary. It's not just computer science. This area includes many different aspects, many different foundations. In order to be really effective, is in fact necessary to have knowledge of mathematics, of computer science, of statistics, of physics, but also in order to be able to apply these techniques in an efficient way, we also need to have an understanding of ethics, of philosophy. We need to have an understanding of logic, of law, since we have constraints in which we need to work when we apply any technology. And we need to have an understanding of how we can leverage these technologies in managing organization. What we need to do to improve the quality of management in the organization, and how the management can actually impact the use of artificial intelligence in the organizations themselves. So really, we need to have a comprehensive view of different scenarios, since they are the foundations on which we build artificial intelligence. But let's see which are the objectives of this course, since this is not a course on everything in artificial intelligence. That is way too much for a master program. So we focus on a part of the artificial intelligence, specifically the part that is typically usable in the scientific and technological areas. One of the objectives is to understand the world, to observe the world, take information from the world through sensors, through our natural senses, but also through artificial sensors, and based on the information that we extract from this, we build a vision of what we are observing in the world, and based on this, we can take informed decision about what we want to do to solve the specific problem that we are interested in. We wanted to optimize the solution that we are considering in order to have efficient solutions capable really to solve the problem. So it's not just a matter of speeding up the techniques, but it's also a matter of creating techniques which require as low computational effort in order to be implemented, but very capable to solve with high quality our problem. And we need also to consider the fact that when we apply these techniques, we always need to have in mind the sustainability, the impact on the environment, since we need to make sure that adding all these techniques, not only we are improving the quality of what we are doing, what we need to solve, but also we do in a sustainable way. We do using as minimum resources as possible. We limit the impact on the natural environment, reducing, for example, the pollution, reducing the quantity of materials that we are using, and as a consequence, limiting the impact on the environment, reducing the pollution, with a positive impact on the environment itself. So we are not destroying the environment, and we are contributing to limit the impact on climate change. Since we need not only to live today, not only you need to live at least for other 100 years. I will die before, since I already passed several years here, but we need to leave a living environment to the future generation. We need to leave a sustainable environment to all living beings. And as a consequence, we need to think about sustainability as well. We need to think to ethics solutions, since we need not to impact on the other people. We need to learn the behavior of the solutions that we are devising, avoiding bias, in order to avoid to discriminate people who are not fitting on the data that we observe. We need actually to consider all possible ethical implications of using not only artificial intelligence, but any technology. And we need to have a good understanding on the impact of technology on organization, of artificial intelligence on organization, and we need to understand the foundations and the opportunities offered by artificial intelligence, since what we need to do is always to be innovator. You can be innovators if you are working in a company, if you are working as a consultant, if you are doing research in university or research center, but also you may consider becoming entrepreneurs, creating a startup, and bringing innovation in the solutions for problems and creating new products, new services. What we are doing in the area of this course is actually to extract the knowledge from the observation. We want to be able to reason on the data, to do reasoning on the data, and for this, we are going to use various approaches, various techniques. We are going to see how we can mimic the behavior of the natural brain, of the natural neural networks, which are the brain, how we can learn using a machine, exactly as us, as humans, are learning from the experience. So we need to look to neural networks, deep learning, machine learning. We are going to look to fuzzy systems and many other technologies. For example, for optimization, we are looking to evolutionary computing. We are looking to the decision support systems. We are analyzing statistically the observations in order to create techniques which adapt the models based on statistics. But we are also looking to how we can extract the information from the world. We are going to look to the sensors, how we can sensing what is happening in the environment in order to collect information about what we are observing. Then, after we collected the signals, the data from the sensors, we need actually to analyze this data. So we need to perform signal and image processing. We need to classify this information in order to understand, for example, which is the status of what we are observing. In other cases, we need to create an abstract model of what we are observing. And as a consequence, modeling techniques becomes very important. We may want to control, not just to observe what is happening in the environment, what is happening in the system that we are considering. And as a consequence, we need to introduce control systems based on artificial intelligence, exactly to ensure that the system we are observing is behaving as we wish. And then we need to also introduce techniques for approximating the behavior of what we are observing, for predicting what is happening in many, many applications. This will be very, very useful. And finally, we also need to look for hardware support. There are specialized hardware devices to support complex applications in the area of artificial intelligence, especially to support the configuration phase, the learning of these models from the real data. And we need also to look to the future in order to empower these techniques and speed up the learning and operation. We also may need to have a look to advanced technologies provided by physics, and computer science, like the quantum computing. The other areas that we need to look at are ethics law, as I mentioned before, how we protect the data, how we protect the privacy of the people, of the companies, of the organization, when we have collected data that contains sensible information. And sensible information may be information regarding, for example, the health of people, or other the political orientation, activities of the people, but may impact also companies. Having an understanding of the manufacturing processes may give ideas about the technical solutions that a company implemented to create a new product, new services. So, but which are the application areas that we can address when we are considering all these aspects? Several. We have industrial manufacturing, for example, is one of the hot areas in which we can apply artificial intelligence to improve the quality of the manufacturing process, to have a more accurate, smoother control of the manufacturing process in industrial by using advanced industrial automation techniques. We can have the management of robots for industrial manufacturing, and we can improve the quality of the products. We can certify the quality of the products, of the individual product, in order to be sure that what we sell is actually of good quality, or at least we can associate different level of quality so that when we send them to the customers, we can tell exactly which is the specific quality. And as a consequence, we can price the items at different level. We can use the same techniques in other areas, like for energy production and distribution, since essentially what we are doing in all these kind of techniques is to collect the data from the environment, observe this data, based on a model that we have of the desired behavior, apply the appropriate control. This is the general idea and the activities that we are doing in manufacturing, but also when we produce an energy, this is something which is based exactly on the same principle. From the environmental point of view, what we are doing again is we observe through sensor what is happening in the environment for ensuring that everything is fine in the environment, to monitor pollution, to monitor if there are problems in rivers, if we have flooding or any other critical situation. And this allows to trigger appropriate alert to people who may need to take action in the environment. Allow also to predict possible evolution of the situations, and as a consequence, in the case of natural disasters, we can act in advance, making sure that the life of people is not in danger. Another application which actually imply using exactly the same techniques is what is called nowadays precision agriculture, where we observe how the products are growing. We observe the environmental condition, humidity, solar radiation, and so on, and we can act limiting, for example, the amount of fertilizers or limiting the use of water, just to avoid an excessive use which may impact the environment, to ensure a sustainable agriculture. Another area in which the basic concept, the basic principles that we have just seen are applied, but in a completely different way, is consumer electronics. If we wanted to have, like in this room, the control of the temperature, humidity, to have a comfortable environment, we have a control system which is controlling these parameters. The same can be at home with domotics or building automation in general. It can be used for entertainment, to interact with games, for example, or to select the most interesting, what each of us consider the most interesting program in TV, a movie, a TV show, and so on. Looking also to possible emotion of people who are looking the TV, or to help with information kiosks, with online guides, and so on. We can use in transportation to facilitate the use of the cars with assisted driving, or the control and management of complex systems like airplane, or to support a better flow of cars on highways, for example, by considering the networked vehicles, so that they can interact with each other, and as a consequence, they can adjust the motion, reducing the pollution as well. We can use these techniques and approaches in security to detect possible critical situation in airport or other critical areas, so that we can actually see if there are critical situations, we can predict the critical situations, and as a consequence, act in advance. But we can think big. We can think how we can use artificial intelligence and all these techniques to manage a city, to manage a complex set of infrastructures which are essential in a city: transportation, power distribution, water, and so on. We can also look to medical applications. For example, we can analyze images, signals, detect critical situations that the medical doctor are observing, and this will be an excellent support for medical doctor. Is not replacing the medical doctors, but is a support to put together the experience, not just of a single doctor, but of many doctors around the world, and as a consequence, enlarge significantly the knowledge base on which the single doctor then can take the decision, since the responsibility obviously remains on the doctor, on the physical person. And this technique can also be used for in bioinformatic application to analyze, create new drugs, to provide support to patients with pervasive measurement systems of the conditions, with support for moving, for living, to prevent possible critical situations. This is that to give you the comprehensive scenario. Now, how we can address all these areas of applications by using the artificial intelligence, which are the concept, the foundation. We are going, as a consequence, to see how this educational program, how this master program is structured. First of all, we look to various areas, and then I will show you the global structure of the educational plan and how to navigate in this plan. The area of the scientific and technological area in which we wanted to use the artificial intelligence has several different aspects, several different applications. So we considered 4 different educational paths, educational tracks for this program. So we are going to have a single mandatory set of foundations, and on this we will specialize this fundamental knowledge in 4 different areas. So for each area we have a package of courses which will give you experience, expertise, knowledge, competencies in that specific area. You will not become an expert of industrial automation. We are not here to give you a degree in engineering, but we do want that we do want that you will be able to have an understanding of the application area, but a huge, solid base, not only an understanding, but a huge, solid knowledge in artificial intelligence that can be used to address the problems in that specific application area. So you will be the expert of artificial intelligence, but you will know the language of the specific application areas. You will know the problems of the specific application area, so that when you need to interact with people working in that application area, you have a common language. You will know what they mean, and as a consequence, you will understand exactly their needs. So this is how this program has been conceived. And as I said, we have 4 application areas that we are considering. One is on industry and environment. The other one is on intelligent embedded systems. Then we have another one which is focusing on signal and image processing, since even if these topics are addressed also in the other 2 educational paths, in this case, we are focusing on how the sensors are structured, how they are behaved, which are exactly the signal generated by the sensors in order to better understand how we need to deal with this data, and which are the signal and image processing techniques that allow to extract the knowledge from this data. So we are going much, much deeper on the sensing part in order to build the algorithm. So we are not looking exactly to the entire application, but we focus on this part in 2 main areas, one for healthcare and one for the environment. The last educational path is focusing on complex systems, how we can model complex systems, and how we can use quantum computing in order to address the complexity of this system, especially the complexity of future problems. So we will enter in the structure now of these various areas, and we start, first of all, from the first educational path, which is artificial intelligence for industry and environment. As I quickly mentioned before, this application area is focusing on industrial manufacturing. So we take the raw material, we analyze the raw material, we see if the raw material has the appropriate quality that we wanted to have. Then we start the process to transform the raw material and build the desired products. During this process, we may have different operations, mechanical operation, thermic operation, which allow to perform the desired transformation. And similarly for energy production. In this case, the raw material is oil, for example. If we have an oil-based thermal station, and we need to process this material to transform it in energy, in electrical energy. Similarly, we can have aeolic or solar sources, and we need to transform this natural renewable energy into electricity and then distribute it. Of course, this is very, very important in order to minimize the impact on the environment, especially if we are using fossil material as raw material for running these production systems. And as a consequence, the more we are able to have a good production, a significant production with minimal losses from the natural renewable sources, the more we are not impacting on the environment, the less we are impacting on the environment. This is why studying the most appropriate solution for this is very important. For environmental monitoring and precision agriculture, basically what we need to do, as I mentioned quickly before, we need to have sensors deployed in the field to measure various environmental quantity and analyze the signals in order to extract information about the status of the crops, the status of the environment, and based on this, take appropriate action. We can monitor the pollution, we can monitor flooding, landslides, earthquakes, in order to provide the information on which is possible to take the most informed decisions. In order to address this educational path, it's necessary to understand signal image processing. It's important to be able to model the system so that we can, that we are observing, that we want to control, in order to build the appropriate process control, the appropriate automation of the manufacturing process. We need to be able to have knowledge in classification, for example, to classify the quality of the product, to classify the status of the manufacturing process. Especially, it will be useful to have an understanding of prediction so that we can predict the quality of the product, we can predict the status of the manufacturing system, and as a consequence, predict when it may become faulty. As a consequence, we can do predictive maintenance to reduce the downtime when possible faults occur. Act in advance, we reduce problems and complexity and cost. Similarly, for the environment. In the environment, we need to do again signal and image analysis. We need to perform classification to understand what is happening. We need to model the system. For example, if we have an hydraulic basin, we need rivers and so on. We need to understand when the rain is coming down, which is the evolution of the level of the water in that basin. When we can limit the flow, taking the water in appropriate reservoirs for agriculture, or when it's necessary to open up the dams in order to avoid that we have critical problems in these basins, and avoid, of course, flooding down to the valley. So forecasting, the monitoring the environment, the analysis of the quality of the environment for pollution, for example, are really essential topics that we need to study. And for this reason, we have the fundamental topics I was mentioning before in mathematics, statistics, physics, and artificial intelligence from the computational point of view, since we needed to have the foundation of the artificial intelligence methodology, as well as how we can use this methodology for signal and image processing. And then we have also the complements of the use of artificial intelligence in organization, and how we needed to change the organization to based on the analysis of the data, and how we can better improve the collection of the data to take more informed decision in the organization. And finally, law and and the various regulation, especially for privacy and data protection. Then for this specific application area, we have the set of mandatory courses which are shaping the foundation of for the area. We are going to see the hardware infrastructure based on typically Internet of Things and the Industry 4.0 concept, and now more and more the 5.0 concepts. We need to have an understanding about a more deeper understanding about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, enter more in the details from the theory point of view and the practical use of these techniques. And then we will focus on sensing, on the various sensors for signals and the vision for this application area to support the analysis of what is happening and as a consequence to be able to better use this kind of solutions. And then there is a pool of courses among which you can choose one according to your possible preferences. And then, of course, you can take also the other courses that you may have not chosen as free choice courses, as we will see later in the global structure of the program. With this, I have done. And
okay. And sorry, I was just setting up for you. And now I would like to introduce you Professor Paolo Napolitano, who will make the presentation for the second half. Please.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. I think I need to put the microphone here, otherwise. Okay.
It's already doing the microphone over there.
Okay, good. So let's start with this path. So as you know, AI is widespread in many application fields, from healthcare, consumer electronics, autonomous vehicles, and so on. So in all these fields, what happens is that we have a lot of sensors that acquire information, and the AI is used for interpreting this information, for processing this information. But the question is, where these computations are done? What do you think? Where are done these computations? On servers? On embedded systems? Where? What do you think? Both systems, right? This is the right answer. So we are assisting in a situation where we do computations in both types of computers, I would say. But what's happening now in this period is that the number of sensors is growing up very fast, and this means that obviously we can also think about moving these computations on sensors. That means moving these computations on what are called edge devices. But AI algorithms are not famous to be very, let me say, efficient in terms of number of computations. Instead, they are very famous to be very costly, in terms of size of the memory required, number of computations, and so on. And so in this part, we are going to study, to analyze all the algorithms that can run on embedded systems, and to design these algorithms in order to be sure that they can run on devices with a lower computational capacity. This is a picture that describes mainly the situation we are nowadays, where we have, as your colleague suggested, an hybrid situation, where the computations are done in part on servers and in part on what I defined as edge devices. We have also another level, which is named fog level, where we have intermediate nodes. But overall, the pyramid we see here is built on the number of available devices for this type of computations. And what we see here is that obviously the number of devices that are available for this level are very, very large with respect to the number of devices that we have in the upper part of the pyramid. So from what we see here, it's very clear that we are moving towards a situation where we have a lot of edge devices with a very small computational capacity, and we, as a scientist, as AI scientists, we should be ready to program this type of devices. And so to confirm this trend, I also report this picture which describes the number of, I mean, the percentage of let me say, number of sensors that we'll have in the next future, in the near future. And you see the market size will grow very fast. And in 2032, the forecast is that we will have a market that will be much higher than the one we have now. So let's think about your daily life. No, you have mainly you have in your houses devices like Alexa, Echo Dot. I don't know if you have Echo Dot or Echo Show. You have, I think, some fitness bracelet. You have smartwatches and you have smartphones. So all these devices contain embedded systems, and you know that these devices are used for implementing intelligent applications. So the scope of this path is to first of all start thinking about how an embedded system is designed, and so we study the architectures of these devices, and we start thinking about how we can code this type of devices, because obviously I didn't mention that we need to reduce the complexity of these AI algorithms, and this means that we need to rethink, to redesign these algorithms so that they can run on very small devices. Obviously, we also need to study decision support systems that are very useful to build intelligent applications. As you know, Echo Dot, Echo Show, or even other type of devices like these ones takes decisions on the basis of information that acquire about the environment and from you. And so we need to study also how to handle this information and how to take decisions. And at the very end, we also are interested in obviously analyzing and studying all the artificial and deep learning and machine learning algorithms. I don't know if I can approve the clients. Someone asked for approving or not. Okay. Obviously, we need the basics of AI algorithms. Before rethinking this type of algorithms, we need to know how they are designed for normal computers. And later on, we study some types of advanced intelligent interfaces so that we can put hands on given type of applications that involve embedded devices and AI algorithms. And at the very end, we start thinking about deploy this knowledge on a given context that will be, for instance, healthcare domain. So with the idea of developing biomedical applications, or later on to deploy this knowledge on consumer electronics. Vincenzo already mentioned the importance of consumer technologies. Consumer technologies is a field that includes all the technologies that we use in our daily life, okay? That we can build on, that we can buy on the market. So, and so it is very important to understand how this type of technologies are deployed in consumer electronics. Say that I think that we, using this, following this path, at the very end, we will be able to design an AI algorithm that can run on a normal computer. We are able and we are aware how to redesign and rethink this algorithm in order to fit on a very small device with a very low computational capacity. And we know how to build applications that involve also decision support systems, and we know how to deploy these applications in a very in a real application field. That's it. So if you have questions, I'm here for replying to your questions.
Okay, thank you, Paolo.
I will start the last part of the presentation today, in which I will present the structure of the entire program, the foundation, the various educational activities for the path in a comprehensive way. In the first year, you are going to see in the first semester the foundation, the advanced foundation of artificial intelligence. In particular, we will have a look to mathematics, statistics, physics, and we will have a look from the computer science and technology point of view. We are going to have a look to artificial intelligence and how we can use these techniques for signal and image processing, since all of this will be the comprehensive foundation for all educational paths. After this part, in the second semester of the first year, we are going to have the specialized educational path. We start entering more in the details of the use of artificial technologies for this specific path, for these specific areas, and on the architecture support for these areas. In the second, and we will see them shortly. In the second year, we have the other two topics mandatory for everybody, the data-driven organization and management, to see the relationship between data and organizations, and the advanced foundation of law and regulations for privacy and data protection. This will be from the legal point of view. Then, after this mandatory foundation in the second year, there is one course elective that you can choose in a pool. One course for the pool will be one for educational path 1, another for the educational path 2, a third one for the educational path 3, and so on. So for every educational path, there is a pool within which you can pick a course to fulfill this requirement. Then there are two courses, 12 credits in total, that you can choose as you wish, more or less as you wish. You can pick courses from the other courses that we offered, in particular for the specific path that you have chosen. So you expand your competencies in that area, or from other paths, if you wish so. In addition, you can pick courses from the entire educational offer of the University of Milan-Bicocca, of the University of Milan, Statale, and the University of Pavia. It will be, technically, we will see at the appropriate time if you will enroll how to do this. But you can pick two courses among these offers. Obviously, I suggest to pick courses which are offered by our program, for the very simple reason that due to the structure of the program, we avoid any overlap between the classes of the first semester of the first year. We avoid any overlap between the classes of the courses of the second semester in every educational path. So if you choose educational path 1, all courses will never have an overlap on that, for that path. If you choose educational path 2, the same, and the same for 3 and 4. Obviously, since the day has a limited number of hours, and I guess that you are not so happy to stay 24 hours every day, we cannot ensure that we are not overlapping between in time between courses of the first and the second and the third, the fourth educational path. But when you have chosen a specific path, that is guaranteed without any kind of overlap. Then, if you choose courses which are in other paths, obviously you may have difficulties in attending if they are scheduled in parallel with your own educational path. As I said, the two courses anyway you can pick in a much more free way, not confined in a pool like the one I said before. The only point is that there are some options that are not allowed. For example, you can take only courses from master programs. You cannot ask courses which are considered taken in the bachelor and are considered as a prerequisite to enter in this program. So you cannot ask, for example, to take a course on computer programming, since you are expected to know computer programming from the bachelor courses or from any other program that you may have attended before. Or at least you have a knowledge by yourself if you have not attended a course in which one of these, an educational program in which a course of this type has been offered. And obviously you cannot take courses which are exactly overlapping with the courses that we are offering. Then you are expected to expand your linguistic competencies, and as a consequence, the ones who have whose nationality is Italian, or if you have a certificate of Italian language fluency at level B2, then you can consider to take either a course on one of the languages offered by the university, for example, Spanish, German, French, or you can take any other course offered outside if you like to learn a language which is not offered by the university. And in that case, you need to bring the certificate back of language proficiency at level 2. Since everybody who will enroll in this program has to have the level 2 certification of English, level B2 of certification of English, obviously you cannot take a course at level B2 of English. If you really prefer to deepen your experience and your expertise in the English language, no problem. There are courses offered by the university which are for the C1 level, so you can take that. For the ones of you who will enroll but are not Italian citizens, who do not have a certification of the Italian language at level B2, the ministry rules imposes that they have to take the Italian language at level B2. No exception, no escape. We cannot change the ministry regulation. In any case, what I would like to warmly recommend, if I start now to recommend this, but you will hear many other times, do not wait to take the course on languages at the last minute. Since the courses are offered at given time, is not continuous, and you need to pass the certification. Without the certification, you cannot graduate, okay? Which means that take these courses as earlier as possible, especially for the ones who are not fluent in Italian. Since there are different levels, if the test will not admit you to the B2 course, but will admit you, the initial test will admit you only to the A1 level, you need to take the A1 level first and then the B2 level later. And this will require more time, okay? So do not postpone. is typically taken in the second year, but if you have any possible difficulties of this kind, take it as early as possible. It does not hurt to start in the first or the second semester of the first year. And I forgot, these courses on languages are offered free of charge to the students of our university. Then, the last point I start stressing now, since it has to be absolutely clear. To complete the graduation program, you have to do some work for the master on the master dissertation. You have to choose a topic among the ones that we are offering. There are some rules that you will be able to see later if you will enroll in this program. When you have chosen the master thesis, you have chosen also a supervisor automatically, since the proposals are offered with the specific name of the supervisor. Is mandatory, is automatic, you have no choice, but you have to take a stage for 6 credits to do the theoretical practical experience on the thesis. So the thesis is composed by the 2 parts, the master dissertation and defense and the stage, which comes together. You have no choice. You cannot take first any stage internship that you wish and then do the thesis. If you do that, the internship is an extracurricular activity which has nothing to do with this program. You can, if you like to contact a company, enter in touch with the company, maybe earn some money, perfect, but there is no credit. This is out of this master program. Only the curricular stage, the curricular internship, which comes automatically attached to the master dissertation, is valid to earn these 6 credits. But we will talk about this much more in detail when the appropriate time will come, if you will enroll in this program. For the application area 1, yes, please. For the linguistic competencies, we need to separate 2 groups. The people who are Italian citizens, or they have a certificate of level B2 on the Italian language, even if they are not Italian citizens. They can choose any language. Free of charge are the languages that the university offers: French, German, and Spanish. If at level B2, or since you have to have anyway the level B2 in English, if you want to continue in English, there is the course on C1 level for English. If someone is not an Italian citizen or does not have the certification of proficiency in Italian at level B2, there is no choice. There is only one course that can be taken. It is Italian at level B2. Or if at the initial test for understanding if is feasible to attend that course, if the result is negative of this test, it's mandatory to take the A1 level, and after that to take the B2 level in Italian for the Italian language. Yes. If anyone has an external certificate at level C1, that is valid in fulfillment of this requirement. If anyone has a certificate of at least of a B2 level in any of the languages offered by the university or in any other language except English, since that is a prerequisite to enter in this program, that is valid as well. Well, I don't know exactly. The question is there an expiration date for the certificate in order to have it recognized in fulfillment of this requirement? I do not know exactly, so I do not want to give a wrong answer. In principle, when you are enrolled, if you submit the certificate to be recognized, I guess the secretary will recognize it, record it, and that's all. But better to ask later to the secretariat, since this is an administrative rule. Yes. The question is, if I don't have an external certificate for the level B2, can I get the certificate in a different way? Yes, there is an internal test of the University of Milan-Bicocca. I guess that it is possible also to transfer the other certificate from Milano Statale and Pavia in the case, but also this needed to be checked with the secretariat. If you pass one of these internal tests, that's all. No need to take the course. What is important is to get the certificate. Okay, I don't see any other questions, so I will continue with the application areas. As I said before, we have the foundation in the first year, first semester. Then we have the 4 pillars of the educational path. For the application area 1, for the first track, we have these mandatory courses that are shown here. So basically what you need to do in November, December, you need to start thinking to which educational path you like to take. We are going to make additional presentations at that time. Then when you have chosen, you go. So you basically you do not need to make any specific choice, since these are the mandatory activities that you have to take. You choose the path, and then in the second semester you have these mandatory activities. No choice, except the path at the beginning. Then, if when you have chosen the path, in the second semester, you have the mandatory courses. Since you already selected the path, you can choose one of the elective courses associated to that educational path, and then complete with the other remaining items that I've shown before, which are mandatory: the language and the dissertation and the stage. For the educational path 2, similarly, you have a structure like this, like the one I presented before. Usually, we have always something concerning the hardware support in both of these paths. Then we have the management of data. Then we have the course which is entering more in the detail of artificial intelligence techniques. And then we have the course, the course which is entering more in the use of artificial intelligence for that specific application. For the application area 3, you will see shortly the goals and everything else. But we are going to have, again, the analysis of data, the various mandatory courses on advanced machine learning and for modeling, and the courses which are dealing with the sensing part, with the lower level part, and then the elective courses for the second semester. And similarly for the educational path 4, the architecture, the data analysis, the system modeling, and then the elective. With this, I'm done with the general structure of the program, and before going to the last couple of items, I would like to entertain some questions, please. And I will repeat the question for people who are online. Okay, how I can be admitted to the program? There are some mandatory requirements, a number of credits in some areas. And there is a colloquium, an interview that is mandatory, and that will allow to assess the level of the preparation. So we'll start checking the document that you will be required to submit, and then there is this interview. All the details are published in the call for applications that if it's not posted yet, it will be posted soon. I guess that still you can see the call for application of the past year, so at least you have a general idea of these rules. Please note that this year we simplified a bit the process, so there are some additional information that you will be required to submit during the application, and this allows us to waive the mandatory requirement for the interview to people who have some specific characteristic of the curriculum. But the rules concerning the fact that someone is not graduated yet are published exactly in the call for application, but just to give you a preliminary information, there are some deadlines by which people is expected to graduate. And there is December typically for people who are not enrolled in Italy in the bachelor program. And a bit later, if I remember correctly, in February, for people who are enrolled in an Italian program, in the European program, not Italian, sorry, in the European Union. The problem is, be careful in postponing too much the graduation, and especially in postponing attending the courses, since, as I said before, the course is very structured. You cannot just take the courses as you wish, in the order that you wish, since there is a natural connection between a natural sequence between one and the other. The courses which are in the first semester of the first year must be attended, hopefully passed, before anything else. Forget anything else if you have not understood the topics of the first semester. Since these are the foundations, and the subsequent courses will build on these foundations. If you do not have clear the foundation, you may not have taken the exam. That is not a problem, but you need to have clear these advanced foundations. Otherwise, in the subsequent courses, you will have a serious problem in understanding the topics, and obviously, there is no time to repeat during these subsequent courses what has been already given in the courses of the first semester, since the time is limited. Then, for the elective courses of the third year, of course, also these courses are building on the foundation of the first semester and on most of the topics which are given in the second semester of the first year. So do not postpone too much, or at least if you postpone the graduation, try to attend the classes anyway and understand what is going on in these classes. Otherwise, you will have serious problems. Okay? The courses are offered in the 3 universities which are partners. Typically, we are offering the first and the second semester in Milano between University of Milan-Bicocca and University of Milan Statale in Città Studi, depending where we find the classrooms available. The first semester of the second year is offered in Pavia only. Remind that, well, and of course, the fourth semester is for the thesis and the curricular stage, and as a consequence, it can be done in any of the 3 universities according where is the colleague who is serving as a supervisor, and as a consequence, where there is the laboratory where this is offered. I would like to remind that this is not an online course. This is a course offered in physical presence only. All exams are mandatory in physical presence, period. There is no other way, since this is how the ministry authorized this course. So we cannot escape from the authorization, otherwise the course will not be officially recognized as a master degree. Every educational activity is in English only. Not only the classes, not only the labs, but all educational activities, including the exams. And including, obviously, writing the master dissertation and discussing the dissertation. Do I forgot anything? No, I think that I said everything, answering also to this question. Obviously, people who are not residing in Italy or Europe may need to wait for the visa, but from this year, there is only one time window for people who are not European citizens or are not legally residing in Europe. And this window is starting soon, so that we are expecting to be able to complete the interviews and, as a consequence, admit or not the candidates sometimes in May, so that there is plenty of time to apply for the visa and come to Milano at since the courses, in time for the courses, which are starting in the last week of September. Okay, I think that I said everything. Okay, we are almost at the end. I will not take too much time of yours anymore, but just I would like to highlight some information about the admission and enrollment process. All information are available in the website of the University of Milan-Bicocca. Since this is the administrative headquarters for this master degree. So do not waste your time in looking for information in the other 2 universities, since here is the official website with all information. Basically, if you look in the other universities, they will point you here. So useless to go around. So there are some seats which have been reserved to students within the Marco Polo program, and there are around 100 seats which are reserved for students who are not residing in the European Union, but are residing abroad. if anyone is interested in coming from outside the European Union, I really urge to start, if you will be admitted, I really urge to start collecting all material, all documents which are required to perform the enrollment and to apply for the visa. Since only when you will have applied for the visa, actually you can get an appointment for the visa and try to come in time for the beginning of the classes. So do not postpone this, since otherwise you may have serious problems. And I would like also to remind that if the enrollment process is not completed by a given deadline in 2025, the career in this program has to be terminated according to the rules of the university. And as a consequence, if anyone would like to apply, would like to take this program, there is a new call for applications, a new admission process next year. So everything has to be restarted. So, but I'm sure that if you are interested and you will apply and you will be selected and you take care of going through the entire process as quickly as possible, at least for what you can do, you will be able to come. The documents which are mandatory is the bachelor degree that you are presenting, and there are also other documents which are listed in the application. Is necessary in the application package in order to be selected for the interview. Is mandatory to provide the transcript of the exams that you passed in the bachelor program with the grade and the number of credits or the credit hours, depending on how the school is weighting the work for each of the exams. Without this record, we cannot evaluate your career, and as a consequence, we cannot admit you to the program. We don't have any choice. The interview is not allowed to replace this information, which is an official information offered by the school where you have taken the bachelor program. And obviously, we need to be able to read it. So Italian is obviously fine. I know Italian. English is the only other language that we can accept. Any other language, I'm sorry, but legally cannot be considered. And I do not know all other languages in the world. So it will be impossible to understand the transcript. So you need to have either an official transcription in English of the university or ask to a notary transcription from a notary in your country. Of course, and this is not for people who are residing and taken a bachelor degree in Europe, since we are using the ECTS as a method to evaluate the weight of the courses. And then you need to have this declaration, which is an official declaration that your degree is acceptable according to the Italian law. Then you need to submit also the certificate of proficiency, if you have one, at level B2 for English. Or you need also, or in alternative, if you have taken a course at bachelor level in English, the official declaration of the university of origin where you have taken that course is acceptable in fulfillment requirement, but must be entirely in English, not just one or two courses. The entire program must be in English. Okay, and otherwise you can, as I say here, you can contact one of the universities, of the 3 universities partner of this program, and schedule a test to have an assessment of your level. The admission requires an interview. Here are the preliminary data. The final one will be actually posted in the call for application. This is just to give you a rough idea, but check the application, since only the official application posted on the web of the university by the administration gives the valid dates. Okay, this is just to give you a rough idea, but some changes are still possible. Few days, not months. Okay, so at least you have an idea. So I said the students who are coming from outside the European Union and need a visa to enter and study in the European Union, that is the only window which is available. This will allow plenty of time to take the interview. Of course, depending on the number of applicants, we may not be able to exhaust all interviews in one day. We will start on that day. If we have the opportunity, as soon as we have some application, we can start earlier. Of course, we will ask if someone is available to take the interview earlier. But this is the date from which we will start the official interview, and may take 1 month to complete them. If, like in the last year, we had 1,600 applications, it took a time to interview everybody. As I said here, the Italian students or the European Union students, or the ones who have a nationality outside the European Union but are legally residing in Italy, they can use these 2 periods for applying. There is also a second application period, this one, in January, for the ones who graduated a bit later. For the students, this period, for the application, allow to submit the application for the ones who already graduated or will graduate by December. This one is the one which is reserved to the students who graduated and not been able to apply before, or the one who graduated by February, who are graduating by February 25. I would like to remind that if someone is not admitted in one of the period, in one of these time frames, cannot apply later to another call. This is not just repeating the application that you can have more chances to get in, since the evaluation is based on the transcript of what you studied, on the outcome, and on the interview. This application reminds that you need to apply for the visa if you are not in the European Union or you are not an Italian citizen. The enrollment has some period of time, some procedure that will be sent to the ones who have been admitted. And here are the official contact of the university for any more information. Yes, please. In the interview, what is asked is written in the call for application. There are 4 fields in which we ask questions: mathematics, statistics, physics, and computer science. The basics that we are assuming are known from the bachelor program. or other schools or other courses that the candidate may have attended. The details for the waiving of the interview will be published in the call for paper, since are a little bit different this year from the last year. We expanded the opportunity for waiving. Other questions? Everything will be available in the web in the next few days. We just need the time to download everything and give this material to the people who are managing the web. Slides and recording. Anything else? Thank you for coming. It has been a pleasure to have you here, and enjoy the rest of the day. Hope to see you in the admission program process.